A massive cloud of dust from the Sahara Desert is on its way to the US. It already blanketed much of the Caribbean on its way to southern US. It has triggered sneezes, cough, watery eyes across the region. Local authorities are urging people with asthma or allergies to stay indoors or wear masks outdoors. According to the US National Weather Service in Puerto Rico, the concentration of dust is unusually high, reaching a 0.55 aerosol optical depth, the most so far this year. That's a scientific measure of how much sunlight is blocked by particles in the air. And there's a lot of it. The plume is expected to reach Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi later this week. Though it's likely to lose some density as it travels north, still Caribbean islands saw the worst of it. The dust is so thick in some parts, it's visibly dimming the sun.
Dust travels all the way here from Africa and affects us so heavily is absolutely crazy because the distance between Barbados and Africa is vast.
The dust plume season is just beginning, but this one is already breaking records. In 2020, a similar event was called the Godzilla dust cloud. It had choked the entire region with the densest plume in 50 years. Now, another enormous plume, roughly the size of continental US, is drifting over the Atlantic. By the time it hits the Gulf Coast, it would have traveled over 8,000 kilometers. The US National Weather Service warns of poor air quality, especially for people with respiratory issues. Even if the dust thins out by the time it reaches Florida, skies may still appear hazy and oddly tinted. Experts say the dust scatters sunlight, giving the sky a soft, warm hue. And while it makes for surreal sunsets, the real story is atmospheric. These dust layers can choke clouds, trap heat near the surface, and suppress thunderstorms. And that means hotter, hazier days with very little rainfall. And when it does rain, don't be surprised if your car ends up looking like it's been splattered with mud. That's the Sahara washed down in your driveway. It all begins thousands of miles away, where tropical waves stir up winds in the Sahel region and scoop dust into the skies above the Sahara. Those waves are the same systems that can eventually form hurricanes. But when paired with dust, they are more likely to fizzle out. Experts saying that that's the double-edged sword of these plumes. On one hand, they can trigger health alerts. On the other hand, they suppress hurricane activity. Meteorologists saying the biggest plumes typically come between June and late July. And after that, they tend to weaken before crossing the ocean. But for now, the dust factory is in full swing. And nature is once again putting on a show in the skies.